Good afternoon, everyone. We're so excited to have you all here. This is a sample for our M6. What was your favorite? I like pretty awesome. Good. Well, welcome. We are the leadership team. We put on this event for you guys today. We're super, super excited. It's going to be a really good afternoon. So, buckle up. Get your pen. If you don't have anything to take notes with, you're going to want that. And I am so excited and so privileged to introduce you to our president of sales, Stacey Soda.
Hi, you guys are so beautiful and so awesome. And how fun is this setup? You guys, all the maracas and the fun selfie station out there, pacing station, meal station. Are you having a great time so far? Yeah. And to all of you joining us, welcome. Hello, hello. Our M members are on this camera. We've got our Jamboree consultants on this camera. We've got everybody on the Zoom. So hi, you guys. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday. If you're in Australia, it's Monday morning. So, so I just want to thank you all for coming here. Our road shows have been so uplifting and so amazing. And we're on number 4 out of 5. And we actually got some sleep last night. So we're both revived and ready to go. And just so excited. So Jamboree consultants who tried the tasty hydration station. What do you think? What do you think about your sample packs? Okay. For sure. And consultants who are here and members, where are you? Show me where you are. Woo! Welcome. What do you think about the meal station? Did you try it yet? Take care of you. You're going to walk out just like this. So we want to make sure that you do. So I just, for those of you, I know lots of you in here know me and know my story, but for our new M family that's joining us, I just want to share a little bit about me and how I came to be here today. So I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've been married for 28 years. I got married when I was 12, and don't figure out how old I am, that's not nice. So anyway, so I've been married for 28 years to my very best friend and biggest supporter in the world. I have 3 beautiful grown children who are just doing amazing things with their life that I couldn't be more proud of. And I have to say they are in love with this product as well, all 3 of them. And I, by trade, was an elementary school teacher. Do we have any teachers in the room? Yeah, teachers. Underpaid and overworked. Love you guys. Thank you for all you do. You are amazing. So I was a teacher, and I am from Michigan, born and raised. Woo! I got a lot of that yesterday because that's where we were, but that's awesome. That was really enthusiastic. Now listen what she says next. So I graduated from the University of Michigan. She's a Wolverine. So my undergrad's from U of M, but my master's is from Michigan State, so go figure that out. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel too. I only root for Michigan State because my nephew plays hockey for them. So when hockey's on, we cheer for Anthony. So there you go. So that's my background. And I taught elementary school, 3rd and 4th grade for 7 years. And when the 3rd baby came along, we knew we needed a little bit of a change. I wasn't really having a nervous breakdown, but for some reason I totally lost my voice one day, and it was just a little stressful. We were having childcare issues, and my husband told me I should take a leave of absence. And I thought he had literally lost his mind because we are a 2-income family. I had the insurance. Does that sound familiar to anyone else? Yes. And I was like, we can't do this. And he said, but we also can't do what you're doing. So let's just take a break and figure out and, recheck things. And I always call that 3rd baby, who's now like 6'2" and 21 years old, the baby that changed everything. Because of him, I found this industry. I would have gone back to teaching, but I stumbled into this industry through that leave of absence. I had gone to lots of home parties. Anyone here like to go to the parties and try food and have cocktails, especially some margarita theme, I'm in. So I used to go to a lot of parties. And so I went to all the candles and baskets and jewelry and supported my friends and still do because this industry is amazing. But I like to share with everyone that I didn't know that it was a real job. I just thought, I remember sitting in the audience going, oh, that poor girl can't get a real job, and she's cute, and she's sweet, and she's nice, like, why can't she get a real job? And I just thought she had baskets and candles and jewelry all over her house. I had no idea you could make money at this industry. So the joke was on me, because I didn't know it. So I called myself a job snob, because I just didn't know any better. So I went to, having been a teacher, I went to a party in November that was educational books. And so that was totally my love language and reading to your children. And I remember we went down to one income. So we were on that really nasty word that should be 4 letters, but it's not, budget. Budget, hate that word. So I was on a budget. So I remember asking her, how do you do this? How do you become a consultant? And she said, oh, it costs $199. Well, that was November, right before Christmas, 3 babies, 1 job. That wasn't going to happen. So I said, okay, thank you, and then went on my merry way. Then in January, I went to another party, same product, different consultant, asked the same question. And she said, well, it's $199, but I can show you how to have your kit paid back before that credit card comes due. And I was like, oh, my husband would know when it comes due. And he might be watching on that one. So, sorry. Yes, sorry. You know, secrets come out, but it's been a long time, so it's good. And it worked out well. So anyway, I got started in the business. I had no idea what I was doing, but I had an upline that told me what I should do, and there was more stuff that I could get for free. Well, free was in my budget. So I did what she told me to do so that I could get the products for free. Next thing I knew, people were booking parties, they were buying stuff, they were joining my team. I'm like, what the heck, I don't know what to do. So I started going to meetings like this to learn. And then I started setting goals, and then I started dreaming. And there's a whole bunch of stories that happened in between, but my business took off. And I was able to resign from that teaching job about 18 months later. Now, I didn't fully replace that income in that time, but I replaced enough that it made more sense for me to stay home than to pay childcare. So I was able to stay home. So I was in the field, like all of you, for about 10 years before I went on to the corporate side. And this is the 3rd company, January is the 3rd company that I've been with on the corporate side. And for me, this is all about empowering people to achieve their dreams and live the life that they want and deserve to live. So if it's an extra just $200 a month just to make the ends meet for the month, that's great. If it's $1,000, if it's more, whatever it can be, I know that this industry can do that for you. So that's what it's become for me on this side of the fence, all about you and helping you achieve your goals and dreams. And so just a few short weeks ago, I was introduced to an incredible man named Ryan Anderson, who is the CEO of Network, and saw this beautiful opportunity for 2 companies to come together. A company with an amazing product, an amazing culture, and amazing members in it, marrying, that's what I like to call it, marrying a group of wild and crazy and fun January consultants who have literally set the direct sales world on its head with your social selling and unlocking the key to making this whole industry amazing. You guys, I was with another company when you were all blowing it up, and everyone's like, who's this January? What's this January stuff? Stickers for your nails? Good grief, they're everywhere. They're all over Facebook. They're recruiting people like crazy. How do they do that? Someone go become a consultant and learn what they're doing so they can teach us. You guys know what's going on in the industry because you guys are amazing. You are amazing. And when I had the opportunity to come here and work with these amazing women who cracked the code on social selling, I jumped at the chance. And so now today, we get to marry these 2 brands together with these fun and crazy girls with hats on their head, maracas in their hands, all the fun things they do, and all the social media presence that they have, and the connections and the hundreds of thousands of customers and consultants that they have. We get to marry these 2 brands together And I think the direct sales world's going to be talking about us all over again under the AIM network. So I know that you guys didn't come here to see me. I know. I know you love me, but I know why you're really here, so I get it. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to the CEO of M Network and our new CEO, my friend who I love, and we've been traveling together and not sleeping finally till last night. He's seen me at my best and my worst and losing things from passports to cell phones all in the same day. Please welcome Ryan Anderson.
Thank you. How's everyone doing today? Yay! I didn't even make you wear that. Scared me for a second.
Pick our first prize.
Yes.
We have an M prize and a Jam prize.
Okay. I have to read it. Does everyone have an 8-6? 9, 7. Bingo. 2, 0. Yay! So excited. Awesome. Those are beautiful pens. I love those. Do you think they come in my size? I like that. Those are gorgeous. Yay! Rebecca, congratulations. 8-6, 9, 7, 6, 4. Yay! Congratulations. Oh, awesome. Thanks, you guys. Thank you. Really quickly, let's give the host a round of applause for putting all of us together. Thank you. So Stacy was saying that I've seen her at her best and her worst. Like, her worst is a lot better than like 99.9% of the people I've worked with in the house. She's absolutely amazing. So Stacy, absolutely welcome to. I think our relationship, she's like the baby sister I've always wanted, and so our relationship is like we've got to be really close, like really good friends. And as we've been doing this, it's like we have inside jokes now and all sorts of things. And everyone's like, "Okay, are we being funny or yeah?" So I absolutely love the way you're amazing. Thank you so much. So, okay, really quickly, we are meeting two families together today. So let's meet really quick. So if you are a Jamberry consultant today, would you stand up? Wow. Nice. Please take a huge round of applause. That's awesome. And if you're an M member, please stand up. Awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you. So we're going to talk a lot about the strategic alliance today. Nobody's really curious about that, right? Not at all, right? We're going to talk about M Network, and we're going to talk about products, and we're going to talk about the future, and so on and so forth. But before I start, I just want to say humbly how proud I am to be here with each and every one of you. I could not be more proud and honored to be partnering with each and every one of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for trusting and believing. And I know that some of you guys probably woke up, but I remember how long has it been? It feels like 2 years and some things, but a number of weeks ago, it was like, okay, I'm really excited about nutrition. Wait, Nels? Or I'm really excited about Nels. Nutrition? Right? Like it's this crazy thing. So we're going to talk about that, but before we do, just a little bit of my story for those of you who don't know me. I've been in and around Red Cells the majority of my life. I was introduced to it when I was just 8 years old. My sister, that was just older than me, had Down syndrome. I say had, I lost Lori in November, still tender. But when I'm 102 years old, so I'm really old, which makes my parents even a lot older. But when Lori was born, they didn't really understand what caused Down syndrome. And so my mom got really heavy into nutrition and trying to figure out what that meant and all of those things. And so when she was pregnant with me, I came out weighing 10 pounds, 10 ounces, all head. And I'm still all head today. So I still have to kind of turn my head a little bit, walk through some doorways. But so my mom got into nutrition, and she used to chase us kids around the house. Like, we are complete nutritionalists. Like, we've done all sorts of things. I'm not going to get into the whole, vaccinations thing. That's your own personal thing. But we never went to the doctor my entire life. None of those kids have allergies. The only time we ever went to a doctor was with broken bones. But my mom used to chase us around the house with raw beef pollen. Have you guys ever had that before? And I've always been the slow one. So I was always, my mom would always catch me, and it was awful, raw beef pollen on a spoon. But this can used to show up, this coffee can used to show up at our house every month full of raw beef pollen. Come to find out, when I was a kid, we never wanted for nothing. I never really knew that we were one of those traditional American families that always had a little bit more month than paycheck. We never wanted anything as kids. I did think it was weird that my mom had a fascination with corduroy, because my mom always made our clothes, right? And it has definitely stunted me from an emotional state. So I am socially awkward because of my mom's fascination with corduroy. So despite what she thinks, I do not believe that corduroy is coming back in style. But again, we didn't want for a lot, but we didn't have a lot. My dad worked 2 full-time jobs. He worked in the coal mines, graveyards, and weekends, and during the day, he was working at the post office, is what he was doing. And so, are we in trouble?
No, I'm just making sure that everyone can hear you. Go ahead. Keep
Okay, you're so nice. Thank you. Stacy. Stacy's so good, everyone. Give her a round of applause. So, there was somebody, these nutritional products that were shown at our door, somebody saw something in my mother. And I will be forever grateful to 2 individuals in my life. Number one, this man who knew my family, but never judged us based on our economical status, where we lived. I lived in a small town of 300 people. That's counting a few dogs, chickens, and depended on the day, cats. And so from that perspective, nobody would ever give somebody a chance, right? We didn't have a lot of money. My mom didn't have any experience with it from an education standpoint. But he saw something in my mom and gave her a chance. From that opportunity, my mom taught me at a very early age that if you're willing to dream big enough and work hard enough, anything is possible. And so I will forever be grateful to my mother, because she saw something and she saw an opportunity and she grabbed a hold of that. And from that opportunity of the home-based business, she was able to bring my dad home from one of his jobs. We never reached the heights as some of you, but from that experience, we were able to travel the world and go out and do things and have my dad on nights and weekends. And so from an early age, I fell in love with direct sales and what it meant to people's lives. Not necessarily a product. Raise your hand, how many of you guys joined M or Jamberry because of the products? Right? But keep your hand up if that product was changed your life because of the people that you've come in touch with since then. See, that's the beautiful aspect of direct sales. It's the people. Products don't move people, people move products. We sell a product, so we get passionate about a product, we consume a product, but at the end of the day, it's the people that matter. So fast forward, it was just a perfect transition for me to get into direct sales because of that upbringing and being around my mom and having that. And my mom still gets the residual check that comes in every month. She still has several different products and several different direct sales companies that come in. And the funny thing was when I was little, we used to tease her a lot. Like we would tease her when I was in my teenage years. I'm gonna digress for a little bit, so don't judge me. But we used to tease my mom because remember when fax machines were cool? Yeah, they were so cool. Everyone, if you had a home-based business, you had to have a fax machine, right? So this one day, my mom's got people in her house. I hope she's not watching. I struggle, but we had people in our house, and they were like putting saliva on a piece of paper, and then she was drying it, and then she was circling where the saliva was at. And she was faxing it to this company, like somewhere out on the East Coast, because they could. Not making fun, but they can like make products from that. So we used to tease my mom, not from the saliva, you can't fax saliva. This was like the early 90s, but so I used to tease my mom, and now my mom teases me because I used to give her so much grief when I was growing up about the nutrition, and now that's what I've done for the last almost 17 years of my life, traveling around the world talking about nutrition. From that experience, I have the privilege now of traveling to 27 international countries around the world, seeing tens of thousands of people's lives change because of this industry. And I absolutely love this industry, not necessarily because of the industry, but because of the individuals, you guys. That's what I fell in love with. And so, to end of 2015, I really found myself in a bad situation. Because although I loved this industry and I devoted my career to this, I found myself in a situation where I did not love this industry anymore. It was difficult, it was tough, because I felt like the industry has to change. And think about this, how many of you guys, Jamberry or M is your first company? Okay, raise your hand if it's not your first company, you've been in other direct sales companies, right? So think about it from this perspective. You have a product or a service that is great. The direct sales industry, who can tell me how long the direct sales industry has been around? What? 125 years, close. I think you could be closer than me, but I think that Avon turned 120 last year in 2016. What? Is that crazy? Avon. But you could be right because, and this is where I'm a little bit faltering, Fuller Brushes was before Avon, but they went out of business before that. So it could be 125 years. You deserve a stick or something. I'll get you one. Yes. Yes. So from that, so if you think about it, the direct sales industry has been around 120 to 125 years. It's crazy how long it's been around, right? But you start to think about some of these products. They're so beautiful. How old are you? Stranger danger. And I have both of those. How is she? 8. She's gorgeous. I'll cook it with her. I'm sorry, I scared her. I have that effect on most women. It's not very often they let me out. So, when you think about that, what the direct sales industry has been able to bring to the market, like aloe vera. I was talking to somebody about aloe vera. Yes, Rhonda, it was an R, sorry. Aloe vera was first brought to market through direct sales. Did you know that? Nobody, I mean, people knew about it, but no one had ever commercialized it before direct sales. Now you can buy toilet paper with aloe vera in it, right? That's the good stuff. That doesn't fit in my budget, but it's good. Bottled water was, it was the direct selling industry that educated people on the fact that tap water wasn't as safe or as good as others, right? We have bottled water today. Mangosteen, acai, all of these things were brought to market through direct sales. Nail wraps. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Absolutely, right? Nobody knew the concept or how to be able to personalize beauty in that way before January, right? So when you look at the direct sales as a whole, in 2016, it did $168 billion in total revenue. That's crazy, right? How could you ever live on that? $168 billion. But there's a statistic that everybody deals with, but nobody ever talks about, and that is 70% of the individuals who ever joined a direct sales or network marketing company never placed a second order and never signed anybody up. 70%. That's a lot of kidnappers, isn't it? Right? 70%. But the thing is that it's not unique to any one company. It was industry-wide. So the one thing I found myself, I was coming home from a trip and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know that I could stand in front of the room and look people in the eyes and say that everybody has the same chance or opportunity of success as other people. And I was devastated because I felt like, and again, I'm not saying that other direct sales network marketing companies are doing it wrong. I'm just saying that we're going to do it differently. And I'll explain that here in a second. So I want to point that out, although I was frustrated with the industry because of people. When I looked at that $168 billion in total revenue, I think about friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, people that have lives, livelihoods, that are just getting churned and burned in and out of these companies, and great products. But the problem was, and here's what I felt like the problem was, is that great products, but yet people would have to justify the means to the cost by exaggerating a little bit about the benefits, right? This nail wrap's gonna last almost 4 months. It's crazy. Or this product's gonna make your hair grow back. I was looking at the wall, sir. I wasn't looking at you. You're much bigger than me. Holy crap, you play for Dallas? Guys, he bench presses cars, doesn't he? Or this product's going to cure cancer, or this is going to do that, right? Great products that didn't need that exaggeration, but because of the cost, people had to exaggerate just a little bit to justify the means of the cost. Or, join my business today, you'll make $10,000 your first month, and then you're going to become a millionaire, and then you're going to fire your boss, and we're going to get a jet, and we're going to own our own island. It's awesome. By Christmas, we'll have Christmas trees with palm trees on them, right? And so now you're looking for anybody that can fog a mirror, that has a credit card to be in your business. And this is a relationship business. It will always be a relationship business. Belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, pedicure to pedicure. It will always be a relationship business. And relationships are built on what? Trust. So if I'm telling you something to get you into my business, because somebody else told me something to get me into their business, and so on and so forth, and it doesn't become a reality, what happens? Right? It's all about expectations. Like if I tell my wife, hey honey, I'm gonna be home at 8 o'clock, and I show up at 8:30, now she's a saint. I gotta tell you, my wife is a saint. She'll usually give me about an hour of leniency. But if I set that wrong expectation, right? Like she's frustrated with me, she's upset. But if I say, hey honey, I'm gonna be home at 8:30, and I show up at 8, I'm a hero. That never happens. Right? So when you look at it from that perspective, it's about managing people's expectations. So back to 2015, towards the end of the year, I was frustrated. I was like, I've got to get out. I've got to find something else. I started looking at real estate. I started looking at buying transportation. I love like logistics. I love looking at that. I was looking at transportation companies. I was looking at a lot of different things. And then I had a call and a meeting with one of my really dear friends and mentors. You guys will get to meet. He's absolutely amazing. He's made over $14 million in this industry. And come to find out, he was frustrated with the industry. And he was upset. And he didn't like where this industry was going either. And then I think the challenge is, I think people jump from company to company, not because this company is shinier or better or this, it's because they think they're gonna have a better opportunity there, right? And then they get there and then they're let down because of the expectation, and then they jump to this one, and then pretty soon they're done with the industry because it doesn't work for them. But I believe that every person in this room, watching, whether you're in the UK or Australia or wherever you're watching around the world, every person was born with the seeds of greatness. Every one of you. It was 1 in 64 million of a chance that you're sitting in this room here today. Now, Stacy doesn't let me talk about the birds and the bees on the road as much. But when you start thinking about that, you're so unique and special that you're 1 of 64 millionths of a chance that you were even born. There's something, regardless of what your belief is, there's something so significant about that that makes you unique and special and amazing. And yet, we live in a society that wants to put everybody in a box, and everybody has to do the same things. You go to school, you graduate, you get an education, you get a job, you retire, you die. Right? That's what they teach. But yet we're all so special and so unique that I believe that everybody just needs an opportunity to plant those seeds of greatness, to grow into that influencer that you were born to be. And I say influencer because it's not about just changing your life, it's about changing other people's lives. Show of hands if there's somebody in this room that joined a company that you're with that changed your life today. Right? You're a better person because of that, right, Joey? So, with that, we said, okay, we believe that, we believe everyone's unique, we believe everyone's special, we believe everyone deserves the same opportunity at success. How do we do it in the direct selling space? And we said, if everyone is unique, everyone is an individual, everyone deserves success, why don't we build a company for the person? And the M, how many of you guys wonder what M stands for? Yeah? It's me. M stands for members. M stands for you. This is truly the members network. You'll never see a corporate page with any of the executives' faces on it or any of the owners' faces on it, because at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. You guys don't know me from Adam, right? At the end of the day, Adam can be here. Inside joke to some of us. Hello, Adam. But you don't, right? At the end of the day, I'm not paying your mortgage. I'm not living. Sorry, I won't look at her. You are very beautiful. 8 years old. I have one that's turning 8 this year too. That makes me homesick. But with that being said, how do we create a personalized entrepreneurship experience? Is that yes. Personalized? You did it? These interpreters are amazing. Let's give them a huge round of applause. I'm always a little bit nervous. Like, I've done translations before, like in different languages, and especially in Japan, my jokes come off so dry. I'm like sitting in the room, I'm like cracking up laughing, and I'm looking over at the interpreter, and he's like, sorry. So, M Network, M stands for members. You should feel like if we do this business correctly, each and every one of you should feel like this is as much your company as it is mine, as it is Stacy's, as it is anybody else's. In fact, it's our intent with the M Network that within the next 10 to 15 years, this company is majority owned by key employees and key members. We want you guys to feel like a sense of ownership. We don't want you to come be a part of M. We want you to come be M. We want this to be your future. We started this company out with 2 goals in mind. Number 1 is we wanted to have 1 million thousandaires. 1 million families every single month earning $1,000 or more through your pay line. Is that cool? In early 2017, they came out with a study, and I was actually here at a conference in Dallas when I heard this, that the statistics said that more than 90% of Americans could not afford a $400 emergency without use of a credit card. 90%. And I'll never forget that moment when I asked the woman for the very first time, what would an additional $1,000 mean to you and your family this month? And it hit me, like she started to cry. Right? And I have that effect on girls too. But she said, every morning, I put my husband into a car that has bald tires, and I send him off to work. And I worry all day that I'm going to get a phone call that he's going to get into an accident on the way to work because he had a blowout or because the roads are slick, and I could not afford brand new tires for his car. Because if I did put new tires on his car, then we wouldn't be able to pay rent, we wouldn't be able to buy food, we wouldn't be able to buy diapers, and so on and so forth. So $1,000 buys me peace of mind and security for my husband. And that's where I wanted to start today. You guys, whether you're rap slingers or stick sellers, did I say that right? I get in trouble sometimes. I'm trying to learn the lingo a little bit. It's much more than that. On this road trip, I've heard of women telling me their scam stories, which I love, about how their self-esteem is better because they don't chew their nails anymore, because they feel like that they're around other people. We've heard some stories, and you're going to hear some great stories today about the sticks and how the sticks are changing people's lives and M3Z. But our goal, and I have this too, but whether you're with us 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 100 years. I don't know if you guys saw the warning on the choreo, but if you drink that, you're going to live to be over 100 years old. Sorry. I'm sorry. We always want people to feel like they got more out of this company than they put into it. That is so important to us. The second goal that we set out with in mind, and Isabella is here, so I love this, is that we want 3 generations. In my lifetime, I want to see 3 generations of leaders walking across our stage as leaders. Every one of you that's either watching or that's here in person today is a leader. Every one of you. But I want to create something together that we can build a future where future generations like Isabella, now she's running, will be able to walk across our stage one day, that we can build a future for future generations. And I believe that what we have in store, and I'll talk about this, that in the next 120 years, that people will be writing books about what we do together, about the legacies that we create, about the futures that we build. I truly believe that they will write books about what we do. And that's not an arrogance thing, that's about making a true impact. If we believe that we were born with the seeds of greatness, we have to leave an impact on this earth. We have to. The most important thing on a tombstone is not the birthday, it's not the death date. Right? In law enforcement, you've seen a lot of crazy things, right? It's the dash between those 2 dates that's the most significant thing on that tombstone. What mark are we going to leave on this earth? We get 1 chance to write on this book of life. And every day is a new page. Every year is a new chapter. We get that 1 chance. So when we started the M Network, we incorporated in July of 2016. We launched in January of 2017. And we're like, wow, January started in 2011, right? So when we started this company, we said one thing, and we made a promise to our members. Bill Hankey, founding member, you're going to hear from him in a second. when we started this, we made one promise. We didn't say we were going to sell sticks the rest of our lives. We said we will always create and provide the best opportunity for you, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your families, your teams, at all times. That was our one promise. And I think a lot of companies start out with a specific product in mind, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this. And then when a company rolls something else out, it makes them so like crazy, because it's like, we were going to do this and now we're doing hair, right? Little nervous laughters, right? We're going to do nails and now we're doing nutrition, what? Right? But it's the opportunity. So when I was presented with this January opportunity, this strategic alliance, a number of weeks ago, it wasn't a shock to me, because when you really step back and look at the difference between the companies, there's not a lot of difference when you get out of the products. It's the culture. M Network has a goal to be the world's largest subscription company in the world. We want to be the Dollar Shave Club of direct sales. Maybe it's laughing. And you look at the January business, over 26,000 Style Box subscriptions every month, over 40,000 Style VIPs, and over 17,000 amazing, incredible consultant leaders around the world, right? You look at M. M has the ability and platform to create some of the largest subscription models in the world based on, one, direct sales, retail, social media, trade shows and events, fundraisers. What we've done is we've created the personalization company. The personalized entrepreneurship experience is the M Network. And now we have personalized hydration with our stick line. We're going to have personalized beauty with Jamberry. We're going to have personalized nutrition coming soon, which is really cool in the next couple of years, where we actually do DNA. So I'm going to show my mom how to do it instead of faxing. And then, what? My mom, she loves me. And then we're going to have personal development. Those are the categories. Now, what this does in this strategic alliance is we give you the ability to personalize your business based on your strengths, your passions, your purpose, your dreams, so that you can go out and impact and change the world. It's your business. If it's not for you guys, M Network is not in business. If it's not for the members that are going out there and dreaming and growing and helping establish your business, I can't be successful. And vice versa, right? We're having these meetings and we're meeting for the first time because maybe a business wasn't viable without this, right? If the business can't stay in business, you guys don't have a business, right? This is a true partnership. It's not 50-50. Well, wait a minute, it's a partnership, shouldn't it be 50-50? There's gonna be moments when I'm gonna have to meet you 80% of the way and you're gonna have to go 20% of the way. And then there's gonna be moments that you're gonna have to meet me 70% of the way and I'll meet you 30% of the way. That's what a relationship is. That's what marriage is, right? At the end of the day, it's not 50-50. Because Sharon, my wife, has done way more than me. She is the same. But that's a relationship, and that's what we're entering into. So when we talk about a strategic alignment, don't worry about all of the legal stuff. Don't worry about all of the other things. Think about the strategic alliance and the fact that now Jamboree has a stable home, this beautiful brand and culture that you guys have built around empowering women and building this opportunity to help people personalize their beauty around the world. We're going to honor that, and we're going to build on that, and we're going to continue that future. And if that's all you want to do is nails, great. We're going to have new products that support the nail business and make this Jamboree brand that was the strongest nail brand that ever hit the market continue to be the strongest nail brand that's ever been in the marketplace. M Network, personalized hydration, we are changing the world. Like, we are in 16 countries around the world today. And we're not even 2 years old yet. We're shipping and paying commissions in 16 countries around the world. And the stories that you guys are going to hear are absolutely amazing. You're going to love what you're going to hear. That's that part of it. And if our M members only want to sell sticks, guess what? That's all you have to do. Now you're probably starting to get some of these questions, right? Like, well, is there going to be sticks on my website? Is there going to be, all of these different things? So this is personalized entrepreneurship. You'll have your own website, and you'll have several different websites. One is Jam Beauty. One is Choreo. One is Weight Loss. One is Nootropics. One is, you'll have your own sites and multiple sites that whoever you're working with. Because I was talking with, tell me your name. Yes, sir. Alan. I'm so sorry. I was talking with Alan. His wife, his beautiful wife, has been in this business, January, for 4.5 years. Right? Give her a round of applause. 4.5 years. Yet Alan has never worn one lap. Alan, yes, he has supported you 100%. Alan, have you tried a stick yet? You haven't tried a stick yet? Okay. But he has tried that, but he hasn't tried the wrap. So what did we do with the Strategic Alliance? We just opened up a brand new customer base. We just opened up a brand new market share. Do not think of the Strategic Alliance from a product perspective. Think of the Strategic Alliance as personalized entrepreneurship. You are going to be in the driver's seat. I believe that what we're creating here with M and with this alliance and other alliances that will come and other products that we'll launch and other initiatives that we'll do, that we're making it simpler and easier for you to find success. We're going to put you in the driver's seat, but we're also going to give you a roadmap. We're going to give you the tools. We're going to give you the vehicle. And then we're going to be the ones that are going to be cheering you on the way. We're going to be the ones that are going to be celebrating with you, and we're going to support you every step of the way. I was talking with, remember your name again? Uplines all quit between you and your lead. Martina? Yes, Martina. And you've been doing this 2013. So she's been doing this 5 years and hasn't had upline support. Like, really, because there's just so much people, right? You've had support, but no one working correctly with you. They all left with you, right? What if we could create an environment where everybody felt like they were a part, and then everybody, one voice, one message. Everyone wants to help everyone succeed, and no one person, even though it's personalized, everybody has support and can be able to have that opportunity. Like, I never want to hear that story again, right? I want to hear a story of support and love and helping everybody to succeed. And that's the only reason why I'm here. I would much rather, even though they said I wasn't qualified enough, I'd much rather go be a Walmart greeter than to start a company and go through all of this if I did not believe that I could help you find success. So let me go back to M Network just really quickly and talk about this. So when we started M, we had to have a product, right? And I have this amazing formulator and doctors that we worked with and scientific advisory board. But when you start looking at nutrition and some of those things, it's like, okay, there's this berry that grew on the side of the mountain that some goat ate to live to be 120 years old. So it must be good for humans, right? I didn't want to create a company around that, right? Like, I wanted to create a company that had real science, that delivered real results that people could afford. So we went out and we started looking for different product lines. And the formulator actually came to me, and she was somebody that I had worked with in a previous company that some of us were in before together, that had a single product that went at over 600 million a year annually with a single product. And she was the formulator of this product. So she calls me one day and she tells me about RDT technology. RDT technology is where we have the ability to take any botanical herb or fruit and turn it into a powder at room temperature. This is where we get into the science stuff. I love seeing this translation. So, so there's this guy from NASA, and he's trying to figure out how to make paint dry faster. So he's spraying paint through a nozzle, and he's hitting it at room temperature. And before it hits the wall, it actually turns into a powder and falls to the ground. Not so good when you're painting a house, but great when you start talking about nutrition. Because capsules and pills and powders are nothing unique, right? But what happens is, in the manufacturing process, is they'll take these same botanical herbs or fruit, and they'll turn it into a powder, either using heat, which is typically a big, huge drum that they'll put it in, and it'll spin, and it'll heat up, and then powder's the byproduct. Still good, not taking anything away from it, but what happens is that heat process kills precious enzymes. Or you have this other aspect of it, where it will create flash frozen process, where they'll flash freeze something, turn it into a powder. Again, nutritional aspects stay there, but it kills some of the enzymes. So what they did is now we can take any botanical herb or fruit and turn it into a powder using room temperature. So we preserve the natural enzymes. Is that hot in here, or is it just me? Holy wow. Yeah, it's totally fine. I'm just losing weight. I don't need to swim anymore. So that same process, so just as an analogy, if I was to give you an apple at its ripest moment, its highest efficacy point, and I put it on your kitchen counter, the very next day it's going to start to do what? Starts to rot, right? Oxidize. It starts to lose its nutritional value. Well, with our RDT technology, I can take that same apple and I can take it and turn it into a powder, which we preserve its efficacy at its ripest moment. And then we have the ability to put it into a package so that when you put water into it and consume it, it's as if you're eating that apple at its ripest moment. So that's our RDT technology. That is one of the biggest distinguishing factors with us. So when we started this company, we had to go out and do proof of concept, right? This is new. We have to talk about this. So we created an online retail brand that had no warm market to it. It was called ClickFunnels, Facebook ads, Amazon, because we wanted to go do proof of concept. So we started with 2 products, Soul and Go. Those were the 2 products. And what we found was, just over a little over 2 years, is that we had a 67% reorder rate. Wow. All online. Think about this in your personal businesses today. If everybody that had ever bought a product from you, a wrap, a gel, a lacquer, if 67% of those people were still reordering it today, where would your businesses be? Right, Julie? Yeah. You guys would have flown here in a helicopter today, right? Yeah, all of us, yes, yes. Julie and Nathan, they would have like car seats in the back and the helicopter. So we knew we had something. What that proof of concept did was it showed that we had a product that worked, that tasted good, and was affordable. And so we took that, put it into the direct sales channel, added some other products to it, and today, nearly 2 years later, we have a 79.8% reorder rate. Wow. Huge, right? That's great. So I think obviously that's a big part to the product, but it's a bigger part to our members. It's our members' stories and relationships that makes that possible. And here's why. People don't buy products from M Network. People have never joined the M Network, and they never will. They buy a product from you, and they join your team. The difference is that our members don't have to exaggerate the benefits of a product, or they don't have to justify the means to the cost of a product, because our products all have to meet 5 criteria. Number 1 is that they have to taste good, look good or feel good. That's number one. And the wraps taste really good. So that makes sense. Number two is they have to be easy to sample, demonstrate, or ship. Number three, they have to work. They have to work. 8 out of 10 people will have a positive experience with our products within 24 hours. Most people feel something within minutes. Number 3 or 4, they have to be of premium quality. Now I know that all of you guys are going down this checklist with the Jamboree products and saying check, 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 right? So now the strategic alliance is making a lot more sense. Premium quality. We always want people when they have a package arrive to feel like they got way more out of that product than what they put into it from a price perspective. Number 5, and I think this is equally as important as the first 4, is that all of our products have to compete at a retail level from a price perspective. So you cannot walk into a GNC, a Good Earth, anywhere else that sells supplements and find a comparable product for less. So now we're competing at the retail level. So a lot of alignments there with Jamboree, right? Like a lot of alignments with those products. And so when I say that 79.8% retention rate is the members, it's because it's their reputations that got somebody to buy, and it's their reputations that we as a company will always protect and honor. Like I never want you to ever apologize to anybody for a product or a service, like shipping that might not take forever, and you might not be able to track Nicole in the Panhandle of Florida. Like, does it take a while to get some products, like 10 days? So Scott and Nicole, I just want to put you guys out. So they flew from Florida, got here at like 2 or 3 this morning, right? You left at 2 this morning, I'm sorry. Got here for this meeting, and a turnaround and flying home tonight. Yeah, they need some sticks, yes. I told him I'd give him some ghost sticks.
Well, they're gonna need
them for the ride home. And sold. So I'm going to share a little bit about our products, the network products. I'll just go into it really briefly, then we'll definitely answer some questions and so on and so forth. But the one thing that I would say is that we claim that our products don't cure anything. Like we're not saying the only 2 things that our products cure is self-doubt. We want to give people the confidence and belief in themselves and in the products that they can go out and share them. And the second thing that we cure is poverty. Those are the only 2 things that our products cure. Okay? So I'm going to go through the products really quickly, and then happy to right? Good? Okay. I always have to look at Stacy, she's my boss. And so Core is our #1 selling product at the end. Core AO stands for Core Antioxidants. So there's mangosteen, grapeseed extract, bilberry, acai, astragalus. It's really rich in antioxidants, right? It's 100% natural, so it helps with antioxidants, so it helps with inflammation, digestive, respiratory, circulatory system, people with allergies. It's just a really good antioxidant product. It's less than 5 calories, and it is, again, it's our #1 selling product. It has mixed berry flavor. It tastes fantastic. The second one, just going down the list, is our natural energy. I say natural energy because we don't have any synthetic stimulants. All of our products have all of our products are vegan friendly. They're non-GMO. They're gluten free. They're keto friendly. They're diabetic friendly. And so both Core, Go, and Trim has a patent ingredient. I just want to hit this one really quick before we talk about Go. It's called Bioperin. Bioperin is a black pepper extract that is clinically proven to increase the bioavailability by 25 to 45% of botanicals. So that, again, when you start talking about having consume something and be able to have it show and be able to experience it, that's there. So Go has natural energy because we don't have any synthetic stimulants, so it makes it really simple and easy for them to do that. And it's also full of electrolytes as well. So it's a wetter water. You'll hear us talk about wetter water. How can water be wetter water? You say it fast, right? Wetter water. Wetter water. 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated and they don't even know it. It affects their mood, energy, sleep. It also affects major organs such as the brain and the heart, memory loss, and there's even some cardiovascular failure linked to dehydration. So go, tastes great, 0 calories, raised with raspberry, fantastic, and you'll love it. Then we go into our nootropics family. You guys ever heard of nootropics before? Yes, you love nootropics. Awesome. So nootropics was invented first by the US military. They were looking for a stimulant to stimulate the brain, not necessarily the body, right? And so up until that point, they had stimulants like coffee and energy drinks and all of these things. But what it was doing was it was making it so that it was hard for them to, in high intense situations, to really kind of control some of their nerves and some of those things. So they wanted something that would give them mental alertness. So a nootropic, basically, in layman terms, because that's the only way I know how to speak, is it increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain to hit different endorphins and do different things in the brain from different things. We actually have 3 products in our lineup that fit underneath the nootropic category. The first is Soul. Soul is for tired, stressed, and depressed. We don't know anybody that meets that category, right? But we know a lot of people that do, right? We're going to diagnose them for them. So the Soul Stick is a tropical tea. It's also full of electrolytes, but it helps. It's a natural mood enhancer. It helps with focus. It helps with some of those things. And now this product, I will tell you that it does cure one additional thing. It cures inflammation of marriages everywhere. So you'll love that one.
I'll take a piece.
Yeah, take a piece. Yes. Our significant others need it, right? So, okay. So the next nootropic in our lineup is Smart. Now this one is near and dear to my heart because I lost a grandfather a number of years ago to Alzheimer's. And that is a horrible disease because you watch somebody die every single day. And so Smart has an ingredient in there called huperzine A, and it is amazing. There was a clinical study that showed at the same dosage that we have in there, the clinical participants had an increase of memory by 12 to 20% after just 30 days. In Japan, currently, they are doing a clinical trial, an extensive one, to show that it's actually growing back brain cells. And they're trying to synthesize it to turn it into a pharmaceutical drug for Alzheimer's. So it's something that I make my parents, mainly my dad, take every single day. So it's cognitive health, brain support, mental alertness. It's a pineapple flavor, you'll love it. That one's just less than 5 calories. Then we have M3Z, which I'll talk about in a little bit when we talk about the lab. And then Trim. So weight loss. So we talk about more of weight management because what we're trying to do is we're putting proper nutrition in the body to help the body properly function the way that it should. We don't talk about weight loss. When you use our weight management system, you'll get the results of losing weight, but it's because of helping the body function properly. It's not because of some crazy voodoo doctor that puts something in a capsule and makes the weight fall off, okay? So Trim is a kiwi strawberry, 0 calorie. It's got it also has the biotin in it, but it has an ingredient in there that's a patented ingredient called oligonol. Oligonol is a derivative of lychee, which is a fruit from Southeast Asia, but the clinical trials show that it actually helps burn visceral fat. So there's a study that will show.
Did it die? Are we good?
And we're good. We're back. You can see how I'm worried about getting in trouble all the time. It happens a lot. Okay. So Trim is kiwi strawberry, 0 calories. You'll absolutely love it. 2 clinical trials on it. 2 patented ingredients, and so you'll see inside there you'll feel it instantly. That's the beautiful thing about that product. Then we have burn capsules, and I was talking to somebody about this right before the meeting. Yes, Ron. Yes. See, that smart does work. She was talking about balancing one's blood sugar levels. And there's a patented ingredient. See this thing, patent and studies and clinical trials, see this thing that's coming along with this? It's real science. It's not hokey. It's not like, hey, this one product and this one ingredient did this, and so therefore, so it's real. So there's a patent ingredient in there called Aloria in our burn capsules. And it is a derivative of aloe vera. And what they showed in this 100-person clinical trial was that it helped people balance their blood sugar levels. Now, why would that be in a weight loss capsule? By helping one balance their blood sugar levels, it helps with cravings, and it also helps with appetite control. So we took that and we paired it with 4 fat burners: white willow, theobromine, a bitter orange, and Fedra. Now, some of you are like, isn't Fedra illegal? It is, but it's totally fine. The first thing, dictated, so it's fine. That's how we get the 79.8%. We do have a POE coming out next week. It's cool. Everyone's been wondering why Stacey's so relaxed and happy with the calls. She's been the one doing the trial. We don't let her drink that one and try that fancy car though. So, Ephedra has been on the FDA approved list for over 9 years. It's totally fine, safe, good. Ephedrine is ephedra with the alkaloids. So ephedrine is banned in the US, ephedra is not. Okay? Now, why is that one in a capsule when we have all these other sticks? It's because we could not get it to taste good. And that was something that, yeah, seriously, it was awful. Like we even thought like putting on the label, like just plug your nose and drink it is worth it. And we didn't want to mess with the science, and so we tried so hard to get it to taste good. We couldn't, so therefore we're in capsules. The RDP technology still plays a role with that, so we're good. And then we have what we call M Labs. You guys heard of M Labs yet? So if this is truly the members network, if this is truly your company, shouldn't you have a say in what products you have to represent and sell? So in our leadership retreat in January, we introduced these M Lab products, which is we introduced them to a lot of products, and then they said, these are the ones that we'd like to see go into production at some point. And so we have what we call the M Labs, which is where you can buy them, you can sell them, you can consume them, you can have people order them from your websites, but they're there as a M Lab product so that we can gather feedback in response. And the beautiful thing about it is that you guys vote with your dollars on whether you buy it, if it stays around or not. Now, this is a significant part of our business because there's going to be products that you guys love, right? That probably because you love them doesn't mean the other 99% of the people do, right? And so in order to keep a business viable and healthy and moving to put money into R&D and to be able to have future products, there's going to be products that will leave. And so instead of like introducing a product full force and having some people fall in love with it, we put it in what we call the M Lab. And then we gather feedback and we do some different things with it. And then if it passes that, then it goes into full production, right? Imagine if we could have done that with color kids. Right? Imagine, right? Like, wouldn't that have been good? And so that's the type of environment that we will have. All of the M members are like, what? Color here? What? Right? So that's what the M Lab. So we currently have 3 products in the M Lab. We have the Rocket Sticks, and we have, that is a youth sports vitamin drink, but it's, we say youth because of the branding, but it's for everybody. It's double the amount of electrolytes as a Gatorade. It's less than 5 calories. It has less than 1 gram of organic cane sugar in it. It also has A, B, and D vitamins in it. And the beautiful thing about that, as opposed to a Gatorade has 35 grams of sugar per serving, and in a 20-ounce bottle, there's typically 2 servings. That's 70 grams of sugar in that one drink. not to mention some of the colors and dyes and stuff. So now there's a healthy sports drink. You get A, B, D vitamins, you get the electrolytes. The electrolytes is coming from coconut water. And so it tastes absolutely amazing. It tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You'll like that one. That one's more than likely going to get out of the lab. And then we have what we call 8-in-1, which is our first kind of step into skincare. And most people, I know that all of you guys probably have a very solid skincare regimen that you do with toners and cleansers and serums and moisturizers and hydration. I didn't know those two things were different. They are moisturizing and hydration, the things you learn when you get old like me. But all of those things, it's a regimen. The cool thing about the 8-in-1 product, it is all of those in one. So it's 8 treatments in one. If you think to yourself like, yeah, right, that's what I thought. But it's really cool. You can actually watch it. You can do a demonstration on somebody's hand, and you can see it go through all of those steps. You can see the cleansing first, and then you can see the exfoliation. It's not a chemical peel. What it does is it's got like little Velcro things in there that picks up the dead skin, the oil, and the dirt. And as you continue to rub, you'll start to see it's a pore minimizer, fine lines and wrinkles. It helps from hydration. It helps with age defying. It's all of those things in one product. And it's $39.95. And some of the wholesale and then $49.95 retail. All of our members get the wholesale pricing, obviously. And so from that perspective, it's not like these $200 skincare systems. You're getting all of that into one. And the beautiful science behind that product is that every 28 days, your body is scuffing off skin, right? Like we are shedding in every 28 days. So not only is it helping with that process, but when those cells separate and duplicate, it's doing it based on the current cell. So what this product does is it actually makes that cell healthier, so that when it does split and duplicate, you're duplicating a healthy cell, not an old, tired cell. Not that any of you have any of those. But it's duplicating a new one. And then we have our M3Z, which is incredible. Like I've never had a product that's had so much buzz and results with it. Like we had it out on the market in just its 7th week out in the marketplace. It had a 56% reorder rate after just 7 weeks of being in the marketplace. It is something that when I first saw it, I thought it was ghost water. And I thought there's no way we're gonna sell this because it looks like water, tastes like water, smells like water, and it had this big, huge story with it that I was like, it's fake. And then they showed me that it had 7 usage patents. It's got clinical studies from several different places, including Yale University. And what it does is it is a serotonin adaptogen. And there's only 3 ingredients in this product. It's 100% natural. It's got monocot grass. It's got a form of monocot grass. There's over 80 different types of them, but this has got just one. And it's got water. And then I had to put a little bit of mint flavor in it, natural mint flavor, because I didn't want people to think we were selling ghost water. So here's how it works. So in the mid-'80s, they started to do a study on field mice. And what they were trying to find was why these field mice were only reproducing once a year. They were really bored in the mid-'80s. Right? So what they found is that these mice were eating certain monocot grasses before they matured. And so they started to look at those monocot grasses and found that there's a phytonutrient in them that has a direct correlation with serotonin in the brain. So they started studying. They've been doing this now for over 22 years, this product, from research and development and putting things out there. We're the first company to be able to take it and commercialize it and put it out into the marketplace, because otherwise it's being sold to doctors' offices and so on and so forth. But what they found is that less than 1% of the population actually produces the normal amounts of serotonin. You're either high, which is your ADHD, autistic, manic depressants, brain never shuts off, or you're low, which is low energy, fatigue, depression. There's some restless leg syndrome. There's a bunch of different things with it there. They call this section in the middle the bliss zone. And less than 1% of the population is there. You're either high or you're low. If you're high, they typically will prescribe you like an SSRI, like Zoloft and some of those other prescriptions. But what they found is that children that are on those SSRIs, that their brain and their body still produces high levels amounts of serotonin. The production does not actually stop with an SSRI. All it's doing is it's stopping the serotonin from hitting different pathways in the brain. Because of that, they can't stop the serotonin production. The suicide rates are quite a bit higher. So that's the scary thing with SSRIs. So with this product, what they found through all of these clinical studies and trials and these 7 UC patents is that it actually helps balance the serotonin. So if you're high, it'll bring you low. If you're low, it'll bring you high. What does it mean to be in that blissful state, that bliss zone? One is sleep. That's why we're calling it a sleep spray, because 45% of Americans suffer with sleep. Who can tell me the 2 most Googled health concerns in 2017? Sleep and weight. Sleep was one. Anxiety was up there. Sleep and energy. How do I have more energy? How do I get better sleep? And the funny thing is those 2 things are linked, right? So the study showed that with this product, that they 33% of the participants, all the participants noticed a significant difference, but the average was 33% longer lasting, more REM sleep. They also showed that it lowers depression, it lowers anxiety, it increases metabolism, it increases libido, it increases focus. So it's not a product that you're going to take. It's you spray it in your mouth, and I'll explain the science behind that. You spray it in your mouth, 7 to 10 sprays underneath your tongue, and what you'll see is that you'll have instant results. So you take it, it's not something that makes you fall asleep instantly. So you can't take it and fall asleep like instantly. What it's doing is so it's not like a melatonin, it's not like any of those over-the-counter drugs. What it does is it makes you fall asleep when you want to fall asleep. So that's the beautiful thing about this particular product, is you fall asleep when you want to fall asleep. But Stacy and I have been drinking this stuff by the gallon, because if you're in the day and you have a little bit of anxiety or you have a little bit of a challenge, you can take it out and spray it. So, but no challenges. But if you guys feel a little bit of anxiety, or if you suffer with anxiety, N3 is awesome. Or if you have a terrible 2, tornadoes, oh my gosh. They warn you about terrible 2s. They horrible 3s, but tornadoes, right? You're gonna love this stuff. You'll absolutely love it for those tornadoes. You have a what? A tornado. I'm sure it'll work. Yes, you want some to take one now. Yes. You'll love it. So the beautiful thing about it is you can't overdose on it, because you'll just metabolize it out. And here's the science behind it. They took these phytonutrients from these monocot grasses and they nanosized it. You guys ever heard of nanosize? That technology's been around for a while. That's not unique. What's that? Yes, exactly. Right? If you nanosize a human, you could put their whole body in a tablespoon. Like that kind of puts that in there, right? The Honey I Shrunk the Kids. I forgot about that one. That's a good analogy. But then they take it one step further, and they call this Trojan horse technology. And that's where they take a water cluster and they purify it, and then they shatter the water cluster, insert the phytonutrient, and then when the water cluster comes back together, the nanonutrients inside. And that's the cool thing, is because we are 75% water. And because we're 75% water, our cells are constantly absorbing water. And when we do that, the water goes into the cell starts to break down the water, and the nanonutrient is automatically inside, thus making it 100% bioavailable. And that's the reason why we spray it underneath the tongue, because of the glands there will absorb it, get it into the blood, gets to the cells so much faster. So you'll love that. But again, I'm telling you all of this stuff, but there's two individuals that I'd like to come up here and share their story that have been on these products for a little bit longer. So Joey, could I have you come up and share your story really quickly? Give Joey a round of applause. So Joey was from Houston. And they got here at 4 this morning, right out here, because they stopped in San Antonio, did an event there, met with some friends, and they came up. So Joey, everybody.
Hi, I'm going to talk about this one first. Ryan, Stacy, thank you so much for doing this. I know you guys have taken a month out of your life, a week or something, but they've been going crazy, so I appreciate that. I'm going to talk about the Soul Stick real quick. I take it every day after work. I've got a stressful job. My company will not let me slap people, so I just kind of keep it. And then at the end of the day on the way home, I take my Soul Stick and I can feel the stress coming out of my shoulders. Sometimes, though, I get into a rabbit hole. I'm going to get a little squishy here, so bear with me. And that's a pretty dark place for me. And the Soul Sticks will help me get out. We're talking 15 minutes later, I'm back to being good. The last time I was in one, it took me 3 times to convince myself to go to my truck and make a Soul Stick. Because I'm telling myself I don't deserve a Soul Stick. That's how dark it is in there. But 15 minutes later, I'm back to whistling, I'm back to working. It's because of this little stick. So Ryan, thanks for bringing that. So the power of these sticks are not just to build business. You literally are changing people's lives. And that's just a Soul Stick. I could talk to you about the other sticks, not quite this passionately, but every one of these sticks is that good. So that's the Soul Stick.
Yeah, I love like hearing stories like that, because it's Joey would have never heard of the Soul Stick if somebody else hadn't taken that leap of faith, and somebody else, and that's the impact that you guys have on people's lives. And so thank you for allowing us to have a front row seat. Actually, thank you. The next individual I want to have come up here is somebody that we worked together in a previous venture. I was there 2003, and I think you came in 2004 or 5. But this is somebody that as soon as you meet him, you'll fall in love with him. He is the nicest guy. He met us at the gate last night, not at the airport, but at the gate last night at DFW. Picked us up, drove us first class all the way here. He's got a huge heart. Had us on the very last weekend as a beautiful family, and just could not be more proud and honored to be partnered with Bill Hankey. He's a founding member of the Network. So, welcome to Bill.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. I could talk about all of the sticks. One thing about the Soul Stick that I really want to let you parents know, it's really, really good to give to your kids by 8 o'clock at night. Here, have some fruit punch. My 5-year-old or 6-year-old grandson loves it. I'll talk about, there's a few things I want to tell you about. A lot of people don't know me very well, but I have a wife who suffers from lupus. Does anybody know anybody who suffers from lupus? Okay. Core is an amazing, amazing product. And when people say anything about lupus, fibromyalgia, or anything like that, tell them they need Core AO. It has one ingredient in there that I have been associated with, also with my last company, called mangosteen. Anybody ever hear of mangosteen? Mangosteen is a phytonutrient that is changing lives and changed our lives in 2004 and on. Because my wife and I had just gotten married, and we didn't know whether we'd be married 4 years, 40 years. or 4 months. And she was misdiagnosed with having fibromyalgia for 17 years. She actually had lupus. This last year, she suffered a stroke in January. And she finally came home the middle of April after being in rehab and hospitals and all kinds of stuff, and being in the hospital, out of the hospital. And then on May 4th, she had a series of seizures that put her in the hospital. I get a call May 7th, said, Mr. Hank, your wife has had 4 seizures. She is unresponsive, and we've put her on life support. Now, I say that to say this about this company. This company isn't, as Ryan said, isn't just about products, it's about relationships. This man right here, he called me and he says, anything you need, anything, you just name it. We're here for you. The Choreo is an antioxidant, it's an anti-inflammatory that changes people's lives, really changes their lives. It's changed my wife's life because I don't know where she would be right now if it wasn't for mangosteen. And the core has more than just mangosteen in it, and it is an amazing product. But also talk to you a little bit about the M3Z that Ryan was talking about. People need to have all the sleep they can get. They don't need just light sleep, they need deep sleep. And Dr. Templeman asked me to come on a few weeks ago and tell my testimony about what M3Z does. I take it before I go to sleep, and here's one. Out of 7 hours and 33 minutes of sleep, I had 5 hours and 19 minutes of deep sleep. Wow. I'm 62 years old, and that's unheard of, according to Dr. Templeman. I don't want to talk about that stuff. Here's another one. 6 hours and 26 minutes of sleep, 4 hours and 24 minutes of deep sleep. You want to change somebody's life, change their sleeping habits. Go to sleep. If you'll get 1 hour of deep sleep, that's equal to 4 hours of regular sleep. It'll change somebody's life. This company has changed my life with relationships, and it's changed people's lives. I had a lady said, my mother has bad arthritis. Her fingers were so swollen she couldn't put her rings on. She said, do you have anything that will help? I said, yeah, she needs core. Within 3 days, she texts me and sends me an email. She says, my mom got her rings on her fingers and they're falling off. That's from severe arthritis. You want to change somebody's life? Get them on core. Get them on all of these products. You will change their life.
Is that okay? I'm totally putting him on the spot. Is that okay? Yes. Welcome, Amanda, up here. So Amanda is the strategic photography board for Jamberry. We got to know each other, and she's in a networking group of somebody that actually represents M Network. And so she may have or may not have compensated some M3Z. So.
Yeah, this was definitely not planned. So my networking group it's industry exclusive, and so that means that I represent the nail space. And when my friend found out about this awesome marriage that was happening, she called me up and she said, I need to hook you up so that you know what you're talking about. So she got me some samples to try and the M3Z. And I have 2 boys, they are 5 and 7, and for all the parents in the room, you know that, when you imagine having a newborn, you think that you're only sleep deprived until they're like 6 weeks old. And that's it, and then you're done. Like, then you get to sleep every night, all night for the rest of your life, right? That's what we all signed up for, right? Well, that was the perception that I had, and that's not the case. I haven't really slept since before pregnancy, and I've tried it now, And it's unbelievable that not only am I able to fall asleep, but I'm staying asleep. And if the boys need me, I am able to wake up, which that's obviously a really big thing. I've tried some other supplements in the past that do have melatonin, and I'm like out. And that's scary from the mom's perspective, that when you get those cries during the night that you can't hightail it up the stairs. So it's definitely helped me over the last couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to you guys getting to try it too.
She's like, I'm gonna kill me. I know you. So again, I want you guys to have the peace and comfort that these products work, that you can be excited about it. I have a friend, member that's in business, that says that M is the no apologies company, meaning that you don't have to apologize for costs, you don't have to apologize for flavor, you don't have to apologize for shipping. You don't have to apologize for customer service, not that that's ever been an issue, but we don't, you don't have to apologize when you're part of the M network, and that's something that we want. So here, I'll turn it back to here, but I just want to close by saying this. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thank you for coming and listening. Thank you for believing, and thank you for building your businesses to the point that we could have this conversation, that we could be here. Thank you for leading your life and your businesses with integrity. And thank you for following your heart and your dreams, because you never know when that one day that you either meet somebody, or that you meet somebody who meets somebody who meets somebody, that you'll change their life forever. And I go back to when I was a little boy, and somebody introduced my mom to a home-based business. Where would I be today? What would I have accomplished? And where would I have gone if somebody hadn't followed their heart and believed enough in themselves and believed in others to make a difference? And that's my one challenge I would throw out to you today is, where do you want to be tomorrow? It's important to reflect on where we've been yesterday, but where do you want to be tomorrow? Where do you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Because the one thing that I know that's for certain, there's no guarantees that tomorrow will even come. But the one thing that I know for certain is that you were placed on this earth for a purpose. And that purpose was to grow those seeds to greatness and impact those people around you. Every one of you are influencers. Yes. You have the same thing as me. Every one of you was a day web, probably. Such a jerk. Kidding, Dave. I love you. Sorry. You guys are gonna love Dave. He heads up our marketing communications. Every one of you was born for significance. I can't promise you success, but what I can promise you is a future. And I promise you that if you guys will grab a hold of this and jump in, that we can have success. And I'll end with this one story. Many of you guys, I know some teachers in here, Peter Rabbit, right? The Velveteen Rabbit, I'm sorry. Peter Rabbit's the movie that my kids made me watch before we came. The Velveteen Rabbit, guys, read that story. There's a part in the story when a little boy and the Velveteen Rabbit are going on this grand adventure, and he wants to fly. And so the Velveteen Rabbit's like, yes, let's do it, let's fly, let's go, do this. And so they start, and they climb to the top of this tree, and all of the other animals are down there like, don't do it, you're gonna fall, you're gonna hurt yourself, don't do it. And they look at each other and they jump. They don't even think about it, they just jump, or they fall. But they fall into this water, right? And so they laugh and they giggle, and they're like, we want to fly. So this time they climb to the very, very top of the tree. They can't climb any higher. And everybody downstairs, down on the bottom is like, don't do it. If you do it, you're gonna die. You're gonna break an arm. All of these things, don't do it. And the Velveteen Rabbit looks over at Peter and says, do you believe, Peter? He says, I think I do. The Velveteen Rabbit says, if you believe, Jump in with all of your heart, and the rest of you will follow. And they jump, and they fly, and they have this grand adventure. Remember this, if you get nothing else out of today, everything that is real today was first imagined yesterday. I can't promise you success. I can't promise you a future. You want to crawl? We'll crawl with you. You want to walk? We'll walk with you. You want to run? We'll run with you. Or if you want to fly, we'll fly with you. That's all we ask. Jump in with all of your heart, and the rest of you will follow, and we're going to build a beautiful future and legacy together. Thank you guys so much. God bless you.
Thank you guys again for the putting it on.
Can you guys go through and tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your rank is right now?
Sure.
Let's do a couple prizes first, and then I'd love to do some introductions.
Okay, great. So I'm going to do it a little bit different than Ryan. I'm going to say the first, well, let's see. I'll do the first three numbers, and y'all just say yeah if you're in there. Then I'll do the next two, and you can say yeah. And then the last one, if you win, you have to jump up and say, I love Jamberry. Or I love them. You can say either one. But if you don't and you're not excited, then draw another name. Okay. So the first three numbers are 869, yeah. 70, yeah. 4. You win, you're enthusiastic, I love it. Come on. Oh, I know it's okay. I knew it. Okay, guys, let's do another one. Same way, guys. Ready? 869. 67. 6. Okay, let's do one more, and then we'll let y'all introduce yourselves. Oh, yeah, you want to do it? Okay. 869. Yeah. 69. 5. 5. And if you guys have it together. And the only other rule is that you have to be happy for the first one. Let's be present today. 869. Yeah. 74. Yeah. 6. Do you love us, Melody? I do. Okay, 869. Yeah. 69. 0. All right, Jackie. 869. Yeah. 67. Yeah. 1.
I love Jackie.
Okay. And it was the last one, girl?
That's it.
Okay.
This is it.
869. Yeah. 75. 0. Someone in the back. Okay. 869. Yeah. 70. 5.
I've been with Sanders since 2013. And they say I'm supposed to tell you that I'm on the advisory.
I'm Emily. I'm from Houston. I have been with the company with January for 4.5 years, and I am an I'm Christy Stallings from Texas, which is by Denton. I'm the lead executive. I've been here for 5 years.
Hey, I'm Serotonin. I'm from Garland, just somewhere that way. And I've been around for 3.5 years. What else was I supposed to do? Did I? I'm in SEC, and I'm on the advisory board. I'm Ashley Stringer. I've been with January since 2014. I'm an exec, and I'm from here, but I currently live in Oklahoma.
Michelle Cornish. I'm a lead executive, and I've been here since 2013. Oh, Branson, Missouri. I'm Julie Terrell. I'm with and been for January as well. Also the executive. I'm Kelsey Byers. From Houston. Been with January since 2014. A lead executive.
Oh, Julie lives here now. She was in Mexico for a long time. 12 years. Yeah, so thank you again, ladies, for all your help on this.
Okay, I'm just gonna break all barriers and talk on the microphone 3 times. So we just wanted to give Ryan and Stacey a little piece of Texas before they head on to their next stop. But we're gonna make them open it so that y'all can all see everything.
Is it open together? What do you want to do first? Is it the same?
No.
Oh.
They're personalized.
They're personalized.
Cow pies. I had these before. They're awesome. Thank you.
For the keeper. That means I won't lose stuff.
Oh, yes.
Do you have a story about that, Ryan?
Not that I will tell publicly.
I lost my passport and my phone all on the same day, but I found them both. Yes.
And your person. Who's keeping track?
Cow pies.
Beaver nachos. Yes.
Ooh, my husband would love this. Stubbed Texas Steakhouse marinade mix and two chilies garlic.
Okay, these are the prawns.
Yeah, I got those too.
That Amanda made, by the way.
I got free range chicken coop football.
Got the ancho chili garlic. So that's nice.
Did you get a big envelope? Is that a picture of you? That's a picture of me. Texas is big, including my hair. I love this.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
And I know I got something that you don't have in here.
Oh, yeah. No, he got the shirt.
You got the shirt. I got Kendra Scott. Don't ask.
Every Texas girl.
Every Texas girl. Yes. And I have Kendra and I'm not. It's an M color necklace. Thank you. Thank
Seriously, thank you guys.
Can we just seriously show our appreciation for everything that Brian
whirlwind trip, and we are loving it. And like I said, we did get a little bit of sleep. You guys, fly safe. Did you get enough sticks? Do they need more sticks? They blew them up. Oh, look at they're getting long. We want to thank all of you who are watching on Zoom and our live stream. We want to thank you all for that, for the time. Brian, I mean, I just think you can see, as you get to know him more and hear his heart, what a great fit M Network is for Jamberry. And this is what we've been waiting for, and praying for, and looking for, and it's here. And I couldn't be more excited for the future for every single person in this room, and every single person who's joining us by video, and every single person who's yet to come in to this family. We are so blessed. So our very last thing that we have for you all today is the opportunity to order M products, because you were here, and so we are super in Jamberry products. Yes, I'm sorry. There's 4 kits that you all can order, because we know you guys have been anxiously waiting to get the M products. Our M members have been anxiously waiting to try the Jamberry products. So we have the ability for you guys to order those. So there's 4 sets or 4 kits. 3 of them are M Network products, and 1 is the Jamberry Basic Bundle with everything you need for the perfect application and beautiful nails. So we're excited about that. One thing you guys are going to notice on here is that the M3Z and the Rocket from the lab is available for you guys to order today. When we go live, which we hope is like so soon.
Because today is June 10th, right?
I know today is June 10th. Maybe I'll have Ryan come back up. Is there anything you want to say about that? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, well, I'll let you share that. But when we turn the products on, M3Z will not be available to all the Jamberry consultants, and I'll explain why. So as I've had the pleasure of working with this amazing team at M Network, with Dave, who is, Ryan talked about, the Senior VP of Marketing Communications, Glenn, who's the SVP of Operations, Alan, who's the head of tech, and all of these guys. So they're all like him. They're like the nicest people you ever want to know. Like, I'm so excited to go to work and work with them every day. But Glenn and I were having a conversation last week about turning the products on, and Alan and I were talking about how the tech part's going to work. And so I said to Glenn, I'm like, well, how much do we have of all of this? And we went through the various products, and then he told me what he had of M3Z, and I'm like, that's not going to work. You don't know our field. That's going to last about 10 minutes, and that's not good. So they have increased the order, hopefully tripled the order, but it will be available for us by the end of, hopefully the end of the month or first part of next month. But because you're here, you get the ability to order that. So I would highly encourage you to do that. I did share what was left of mine with Christy. So Christy Stallings is taking the rest of mine home because she needs it. So when I don't sleep all night tonight, I'm going to wake up and go, I love Christy, I love Christy, I love Christy. No, absolutely. It is the best stuff because I have slept so well and woke up just feeling refreshed. And Ryan and I are drinking it the last few weeks. Do you have a question? Did we get some PP if we ordered them? Yeah, I was just going to tell you that. Yeah, so for sure, we're going to send these. They're going to be processed as quickly as possible. Once I mail them, scan them, something, we'll figure them out. We'll get them to the office. Oh yeah, Ryan's taking these back with him. So, so they'll get processed right away and shipped out. And before the end of the month, you will see the PV reflected. So that's why we show you that. So you know, you won't see it right away because the ink isn't dry. We haven't made the switch yet, but you will see it as soon as we can. So we wanted to give you that opportunity. And then our leaders, who you saw up here, if you want to see any of them, they'll make sure it's all filled out for you, and they will take those order forms from you. So, Gwen, did you want to share anything about, I know, because everyone's so anxious. I mean, we had June 1st for a date, then we thought, oh, we really thought Friday, now we're June 10th, so come on up. Tell us what you know.
Not a lot. I don't know a lot, unfortunately. So with any agreement, so the M network, the entity of M network is not purchasing the entity of Jammer. Okay, so that's hence the strategic alliance aspect of it. And so we did have a June 1st date. We actually thought it was going to close before the June 1st date. But there's legal aspects of it. So there's the entity of Jamboree, and so what does the strategic alliance mean? M Network is currently purchasing assets, inventory lines, IP, genealogy stuff from the entities that are involved with the Jamboree portion of this. So I'm not trying to be vague. I'm just trying to be legally compliant. So. You think buying a house is tough? Like, how many of you guys have bought a house before and you thought you were going to get carpal tunnel signing all those papers? This is even more difficult. So we started the process with like 5 attorneys involved. I think there's like 30 attorneys involved at this point. And so it's that process of sending paperwork back and forth. So we have the M Network has moved into the Jamboree offices. So like most of our employees are into the Jamboree corporate office right now. And then we're going to be moving into our final home by July 1st. And so if you're thinking to yourself, okay, how's this going to work? It's business as usual with Jamboree right now. And it's business as usual with the M Network. So, but it's our intent that once this thing is closed, that we're going to be merging and bringing the Jamboree product line into the M Network portfolio and building out that brand and that culture and everything. And so your back office is your back office today, your commissions are your commissions today, your commission plan, your product line, everything's the same. But there's going to be a little window of time where we'll be running the Jamboree and M Network side by side for a little while we're merging things together. So as soon as the paperwork is signed, it's not like there's going to be a magic switch where everything's going to be like, oh, I'm on M Network's commission structure. So I know that a lot of you guys are like studying and trying to figure out the M Network commission structure. Don't worry about that now until we make that a reality. But what will happen immediately once you see that happen, you'll see M Network products show up in your back office with Jamboree, and M Network will see some Jamboree products show up in their back office while we're working on that transition. If there's people, and I get this question all of the time, I have people that necessarily, she loves the choreo.
I know, it's like your biggest blast ball.
You're the healthiest kid in school. You're already the prettiest girl in school. So with that being said, is that, so you'll see products back and forth in both of those. I know it's difficult. You're not going to see a dramatic change like right out of the gates. There will be business even after the thing is signed. There will be business as usual while we're migrating over. But we will communicate as we're migrating things over. We'll make sure that everyone understands things before we ever flip the switch and shut stuff off, so that you'll have that from that perspective. So again, I know it's frustrating. I've been wanting this thing to be signed, done, so delivered for a while now. But it's every day. So everyone wants to know.
We have to show them how cute you are. Just not all the viewers.
Yes. So with that being said, I know it's painful. I know it's frustrating. There's a lot of hours. But here's the one thing I will tell you. I've been so blessed and privileged to work alongside the individuals that are in the implementation side. The corporate staff at Jamboree have been absolutely amazing. The founders of Jamboree have been just nothing but amazing during this whole process. It's not a bad thing. There hasn't been a frustrating thing for me other than the time that it actually takes to finish the legality of it. Everybody's working together. Everyone's excited about it. Everyone has an end goal in mind. It's just been the whole legality aspect of it. So, like we said, we thought it was going to happen before June 1st. We communicated that we thought it was going to happen on June 1st, and we thought it was going to be on Friday. And now I'm praying for tomorrow, Monday. So, so that's what we're working on. But again, we'll communicate through that whole process. And I'm happy to answer questions. Like if you guys have questions and you want to ask them now, I'm answering now. I'm happy to answer them afterwards. Yes, ma'am.
Are we gonna, will each company's consultants be grandfathered in?
Yes, that is a great question. So all of the active consultants in January will be migrated into the M network, and there will not be an enrollment fee, there won't be a transfer fee, there won't be anything from that perspective. And we're working through the logistics of being able to honor all of the tenure and everything that you have. And so, you know, some of you have been in January 5 years, some of you have been in 5 months, right? You'll have been an M member for 5 years or 5 months because that, again, is moving in. So working on that, ranks will transfer over and so on and so forth will transfer over. Marketing credits, we will be asking you guys to hurry and try to cash in those marketing credits and gift cards, but we'll be honoring those as well. Again, we want this to be as undisruptive as possible. Like we want this to be really simple and easy for you guys, but yeah, there will not be any transfer fee. Do not enroll anybody. If there's somebody that wants to be in your M, who wants to do M, right? Like I get that question all the time. Like I want to enroll in M. Don't enroll in M, have them enroll in your Jamboree business. And that's one of the things when we flip the switch that you'll have M network enrollment packs, and same with M, we'll have Jamboree enrollment packs in theirs. Have them enroll with you in Jamboree because you'll be taking your teams as is. Please do not have anybody enroll in M at this point because it'll just mess up because now you'll have 2 trees and it's already confusing for me. So, yes, ma'am. Yes.
The $25 fee.
Oh, so she's asking if the $25 kit will stay.
Or at least until
There's
the
a $25 virtual kit. That's still available now, yes. So moving forward, Ryan and I will talk about with the team how the January kits for sure, the enrollment kits will work. And so because we want to allow volume for them, and so we're going to look at those. Yeah. Go ahead.
What about the former consultants? There was like a grace period for them to come back without reinstatement.
Yeah. So right now, yes, consultants.
Restate the question, so.
Oh, okay. So they're asking about reinstatement. Consultants who can come back, they can come back under the original sponsor in January for free. That is true right now. And once we make the switch, what we want to think about is once we make the switch over to M, we're going to be also switching to their policies as well. So some of the things that lived in January, policy-wise, will not live. So if there's people out there that want to reinstate under you, this would be a great time to do it. But as time goes on, we will be reaching out to people who used to be January consultants and inviting them to come back. Is that right?
If there's somebody in a market that is available to M currently, once that switch is made, will they have Jamboree available to them as well, even though we are not currently in that market?
Yes, so the question was, M Network is in 16 countries and Jamboree is currently in 5 countries. When the switch happens, will Jamboree products be available in those 16 countries? And the answer to that is yes. In fact, it's our intent to, and I know there's some Aussies and some of our UK friends on the line today. It's our intent to get the Nellox studio available to those markets as quickly as possible as well. Martina, sorry. What are the 16 countries? Now you're really going to put me on the spot. So we are in Asia, we're in Japan. We're in the US and Canada, Australia, New Zealand. We're in the UK, Germany, Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, Italy, France, mainly, I'm going to stop there because I'm going to forget somebody.
That's 12.
That's 12. Yeah, Germany, okay. Now, having said that, Martina, we don't have anything in German yet. So, as far as the language translations and stuff. Okay, Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Here, and then I'll just come down the row if that's okay.
What about those of us that have prepaid for our website?
Okay, so the question was those of you that have prepaid for your website. Now there's you can do it monthly, you can do it in 3 months, 6 months, or you can do it in a year. So M Network does not have a monthly renewal fee on their websites. But we do have an annual renewal fee, right? So a lot of those things, so there's a line, right? So even today, the Jamboree entity is collecting all of the revenue. At the point that that switch happens, then the M Network would be collecting that revenue. So any of that stuff, there wouldn't be a future website fees, but anything that was paid prior to is there. We couldn't do like any refunds or anything from that perspective because that was there, but you're not paying for the moving forward, so it's as if you're getting it free now. Does that make sense? I know it's frustrating because I paid for a year of this website, but you're still getting a year of that website. And we also have an app that's free. I know that you guys had an app that you guys used to pay for. Our app is free, so you're going to be getting multiple replicated websites, and then our choose to say that our app does more than the one we currently have, a lot more. So you're getting more. I know it's frustrating, but it's just kind of that nature of the beast, right? Like, and I know there's going to be some things that are going to, well, we have this at Jamboree, right? So, and we want to honor as much of that as we can, but it's still, it is moving to the M Network, if that makes sense.
Like
So,
when we go to grandma's house.
exactly, right? I love that analogy. It's like when we go to grandma's house. Things aren't always the same, right, as they are at home.
Okay, Grandma. You Grandma.
She could tell I was wearing a girdle today. Yes.
A lot of us are really excited about JamCon, and it's
Awesome.
coming up so soon. Is there any way that you could tell us when we might see the new agenda?
Yeah, as soon as we have some things around. JamCon's the question. I know that they're asking about JamCon. I'll come here and then I'll come back to it if that's okay. I'm just going to be full transparent. There was a contract that was signed with the Gaylord that no funds had been funded that was in excess of over $2 million. So we are right now scrambling to find a new location. We think we found one for that same weekend. Whoever in their right mind thought that it was awesome to go to Nashville in the middle of tourist season and have it be cost effective was insane. And so we have been working thousands of hours trying to find a new location with, like, I say thousands because there's so many people putting in hours.
There's a lot of people putting in time.
And so we're going to be honoring those tickets and we're going to be transferring those over, but it's going to be in a different location for that same weekend. It says same weekend. You're still flying into
Same
Nashville.
weekend, still Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if we can't find a location, we'll have to figure something out. But
Yeah.
we
We think we have
we
one.
think we have one.
Yeah, we think we have one. Some,
Are there going to be hotel rooms, or you just go expecting?
yeah, no, there will be hotel rooms with that as well.
What if you already have your?
So if you have a reservation at the Gaylord, you could keep it because this location that we have is still in that music district that's close by. But I think that the hotel that we found might have cheaper rooms by I think $50 or $79.
No, actually, no.
Is it the other way? Okay. So I wouldn't say cancel rooms. The Gaylord has a policy that you can cancel up to 72 hours before and not be charged. So I wouldn't get all crazy and go cancel anything until we send out a schedule and get some stuff on that from that perspective. So, yes, ma'am.
I think, can I just share a little bit more about that too? Y'all, too, remember the contract was with Jamboree, and your reservations and your registration and everything was with Jamboree. And so to put this conference on, has none of those funds. So I just wanted to be very clear that M did not collect the funds from your registration, Jamboree did. So when we move forward in a different venue, this is completely out of M Network's pockets.
I'm just trying to make sure the top line has 4 basic fingers so that good, I don't want to go right about that. Yeah.
So I just had a question about your vision as you learn about Jamboree
going a certain direction.
Mhm.
Can you talk about
Yeah. So she asked like future direction with Jamboree product line specific. Like Jamboree had a great schedule, and they were rolling out hair and lips and brow and foot. And, what's that? Color cure.
Me too.
What's that?
Version 2.
Version 2.
Color Cure version 2.
They
Oh,
were
yeah.
testing Color Cure V2, yes.
Yeah. So it's our intent that we want. Jamboree was once the strongest go-to brand in the nail space, and I think Jamboree, no fault of its own, served as a product of their environment, got away from that. So not only are we going to be developing new products in the stick line, but we're also going to be developing more products, bringing focus back into the nails and building out the so, yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry, I said I'd come here and then here, sorry.
So this might be a little sensitive, but I really love my Jamboree card, and I know we're going to switch over to this. Will it say Jamboree at all, or is it going to be all in card?
So the question is, she really loves her Jamboree card, and she wants to know if when she switches over, if it's going to say M on it. The commission engine that you're currently using, we will be switching from. There is an M card currently, but I need to check with that. I'm sure we could make a couple different cards
I love
they could choose by. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, yeah, that would be cool. So, yes, ma'am.
So I've been working at my work, and they've all loved the sticks, but the one concern that they've had is there's only one flavor per
Per benefit.
Right. And so are you going to be expanding that at all, or?
So the question is that she's been, and you're a Jamboree consultant?
No, I'm at network.
Awesome, thank you, awesome. I was gonna be like, you're in trouble if you're a Jamboree consultant. So she's an M member, and the question is that at work, everybody loves the sticks, but it's one flavor per health benefit. Are we gonna be expanding into those? Not in every category, but we are working like in the top sellers. Like Oreo will always be the same flavor Oreo because a lot of it's the components that goes into it that makes that flavor. But like energy, we've got a pink lemonade one that's coming out that's 100% natural that we're working on, and various things around that that we'll certainly do. Like we have a green apple for the rocket that we have, and so yeah, we'll depending on if they're a top seller. If it's a top seller, then we can go to different flavors. If it's not a top seller, then it won't have multiple flavors. That makes sense.
When I get the most of this,
The go, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, thank you. Here and then we gotta be done. I'm sorry. Yes.
I just had a really quick question about moving forward with FADB. So I am an advocate for FADB and wondering like how that's going to look, or is there a plan moving forward with that?
Yeah, so M Network has not aligned itself with the charitable cause yet. I've had an opportunity to meet with Jared and Adam, the sisters, on FADB and their role playing and moving forward. And there's absolutely, we're going to support that cause, and we're going to be working with them. And we've been brainstorming a bunch of different ideas. I don't know if the sisters are watching this or not today, but we even have talked about like having the sisters design a specific wrap for FADB, and we sell that every single month, and 100% of the proceeds goes towards that charity. So we're doing some things that we'll be putting a lot more awareness on that and focusing on that. And I know that there's the boxes that go to the FADB, to the shelters to do some things like that. We're going to be highlighting that and building stories around that and putting a lot of focus on that so that we can have that, because it is a beautiful cause.
I know you have more questions, but we do have to give this room back for another event. So we do have to wrap up, and everyone at home, thank you again for joining us. And all of you, thank you. We wish you very safe travels. We thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with us, and we look forward to a super bright future together. So love y'all, be safe, and bye everybody.